thank you to Dr. Whitman's establishment, first of all, for making this opportunity for me, because what's your opportunity is my opportunity too. I am very grateful that you're here and that you're interested in this subject. You know probably already that I've been studying the process of cancer for close to 20 years and have made a great deal of progress, and I'll review that for you in just a bit, but first I want to express my appreciation to you, first of all, for coming to hear something so intellectual and something that clinicians should be here for. But I find lay people are much more scientific minded and scientific oriented than clinicians are, which is unfortunate, but they get tired of it all, you know. It's just a profession and you have to earn a living, and you're much more interested in a family member or a friend or a pet, a pet's health than a clinician normally is, at least in the experiences I hear about by fax every day. If I were to read you just an average set of faxes that I get, it could keep you crying from morning till night. And it is mostly the same story over and over again. The parent or family member of a cancer-stricken person is demolished by the tragic news, and thinking that they had been doing everything they could, didn't smoke, didn't drink, was eating health foods, buying natural foods, doing everything they possibly could and had been taught, and here they came down with cancer. Or a therapist came down with cancer. And it shows you the bankruptcy of our nation's understanding. So first of all, I want to take you back 15 or 20 years ago when I accidentally discovered the real cause of cancer. How could that be when the cause was already found? The National Cancer Institute and the other cancer agencies have already found a long list of carcinogens, and the definition of carcinogen is causes cancer. And we all believe that these carcinogens is what's causing it, and these carcinogens comes from our industrialized lifestyle, and without our industrialized lifestyle we wouldn't have any progress. So it's either cancer or progress that's in a person's mindset, including all the clinicians and all the researchers in the country. So if you have the wrong mindset, you're going to have wrong answers, and you won't ever be able to cure anything. And all the scientists and the reports by them in newspapers are very depressing. Nobody even assumes that you can cure it. In fact, curing just means staying alive for 5 years. That's the definition. Well, with an attitude like that, you're never going to succeed. You have to believe in something you can do before you're going to try to do it. And so when I accidentally found the cause, it was maybe the most important day of my life. I thought it was, because it was upsetting to me to find the cause and find it to be so different. How could I ever talk about that? Nobody is going to listen to that. I found the cause to be a parasite, which nobody even thought existed in this country. The only place you would find the parasite, which is Fasciolopsis busci, thank goodness it is a human parasite, but I had taken a parasitology class, just like all clinicians do, and we, of course, knew that pigs right in our neighborhood had it, and that wild animals in our state had it, but just people didn't. And we never saw the illogic in that. We also knew that you don't have to be parasitized by the adult, that there is a great deal of larval parasitism for very many parasites. Parasites are very primitive animals, and they have many stages that they go through, because that's how primitive life is. Even grasshoppers and potato beetles, all of the moths, butterflies, all those primitive animals have many stages that they go through. Malaria, for instance, is a parasite, and it has over 20 stages that it goes through. And you can be parasitized by particularly one stage and not the others, but the animal has to go around those stages in a kind of a ring-like manner in order to get back to, say, the egg stage, where they can start all over again. Well, it was very disconcerting to me to find such an unusual, an unaccepted, an unacceptable cause. But I thought I had the cause for a special reason. If I removed it, the cancer went away. You can't say that for any of the carcinogens that have been discovered. There are thousands of carcinogens. Who keeps track of them for us? A world organization called International Agency for Cancer Research, for Research in Cancer, called IARC, commonly just called IARC, IARC. And they are the most prestigious cancer scientists in the world. They come together in France maybe once or twice a year, I'm not sure, and they make the decision as to what is cancer-causing, carcinogenic, and what is not, and whether it's probable or slightly probable and all those things. But I could take this particular parasitic stage out of the cancer victim, and they could go back to their oncologist, which they promptly did, because all of them have appointments, regular appointments with their oncologist. And the oncologist would state that their treatment had worked, or something had worked, and the tumor was now benign. Well, that kept me working, of course, and if the malignancy was gone after removing the parasite, I thought that was pretty good. Quite a few people, patients, got the parasite back. Not intentionally, but those that did get it back got their malignancy back. That's, again, another independent kind of experiment. And then when we took it away again, because of course they would be quite annoyed at what had happened, and they would get it back again, they would remove it again, and again they would have the malignancy gone. Now the tumors, many of them had many of them, all the different kinds of cancer you could mention. So after doing that 3 times in a row, I thought that was enough to persuade me that this was a cause. Maybe not the only cause. Maybe it was working together with other causes, but this was a cause. And so at that point, then I went to Mexico to try to put it into effect so that others could see that this was a cause, not a carcinogen and all the other theories that abounded. There have been very many other cancer workers besides me, hundreds, who have given their lives to studying cancer and went to Mexico to try to develop it somehow and gain more insight into it. And most of them had discovered something that cured their cases. Otherwise, they wouldn't be giving their life to it and living in a third world country as a sacrifice to their mission. There was the theory of vitamin A. There was the theory 100 years ago by a Dr. Beard that we all have little tumors that become cancerous and start out as a kind of a mistake of an embryo, and that's why it makes HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, to protect its embryo, and that is actually what does happen in cancer patients. They make a huge amount of HCG to protect the tumor from your own immune system. And there were many more. Harold Manner's theory and Dr. Koch's and so on. People of great brilliance, but mine was not. Mine was an accident. I just happened to be studying a parasite collection that was lent to me by the neighboring dentist who had taken a parasitology class like I had. And this was around 1980 or 85 when HIV had just begun, and we were told that HIV patients had a parasite called Giardia very often. And he had a Giardia in his collection. And I said, let's not break up the collection, let's keep it together, and I'll just use the Giardia out of it. And there I had a collection of around 70 different parasites. And I guess my curiosity was too much for me. I thought, since I didn't find Giardia in them, I just went at the rest of the whole collection and tested them all, and didn't find very much. But I was doing a project of so many people because I did see a few oddities there, and I had 2 cancer cases in a row who were there for nutritional consulting, not for their cancer, of course. And that is where I found these Fasciolopsis buskis. And I thought that couldn't be. We're not in China. I too had the clinical mindset. And that's how this all began. Fortunately, in Mexico, I was able to put the theory into practice, and it came true.